All right, let's dive right into this explainer on why the absolute smartest financial decision you could ever possibly make is just keeping your mouth completely shut about your money. Seriously. Now, I know that kind of sounds like the paranoid advice your eccentric uncle might whisper to you at Thanksgiving, right? But stick with me here. We're going to unpack the fascinating psychology and the real-world math that proves why broadcasting your success is actually the absolute fastest way to lose it. So let's get into it.
So when you picture someone who just got rich, what immediately comes to mind? You're probably thinking of Lamborghinis, right? Mega mansions, endless designer shopping sprees, the whole shebang. But here's the really surprising reality. Some of the absolute wealthiest people you walk past every single day, they're actually wearing basic clothes from Target and driving beat-up Honda Civics. No joke. You would literally never guess that they have more money sitting in the bank than most people will see in an entire lifetime.
Which brings us to Section 1. Rich versus looking rich, and the dangerous desire for recognition. You see, human psychology kind of plays a massive trick on us here. If you strip away the surface-level reasons for wanting a lot of money, what you usually find underneath is this deep, deep desire for recognition. We're talking respect, admiration, maybe even a little bit of envy from the people around us. But here's the catch. Playing dress-up with expensive toys comes at an incredibly steep cost. When you choose the path of just looking rich, and you go out of your way to broadcast your wealth, you're literally painting a giant target on your back. And that invites not just the physical security risks, like burglaries and scams, but it causes a fundamental and honestly highly dangerous shift in how people actually interact with you.
So, this leads us directly to a highly counterintuitive yet absolutely powerful strategy called stealth wealth. And honestly, it's exactly what it sounds like. You're accumulating significant money, but nobody around you has any idea. Literally none. You live modestly, you drive reasonable cars, and you completely avoid the trap of lifestyle inflation that ends up destroying so many people the second they achieve any level of financial success.
Moving on to Section 2, the appearance prison and the trap of lifestyle inflation.
Okay, so if you decide to show off instead of flying under the radar, you risk falling into what is honestly a terrifying psychological trap. It's called the appearance prison. Let's say, hypothetically, you buy an expensive car to show off your success. Well, almost immediately, you're going to feel this intense pressure to live up to that new image. Suddenly, that expensive car creates the pressure to buy matching designer clothes. Then, you need a bigger house that's actually worthy of the car in the driveway. And then it's fancy vacations. Before you know it, you are completely trapped in this vicious cycle. You're exhausting yourself, working harder and harder and spending more and more money, all just to maintain this fake wealthy image for strangers you don't even really know.
There's this great old saying about the 3 levels of wealth, and I think it just perfectly captures the true essence of escaping this trap. It goes like this. When you're poor, you cut your own grass. When you're middle class, you pay someone else to cut your grass. But when you're truly wealthy, you cut your own grass again.
Now think about that for a second. Why on earth would a wealthy person cut their own grass? Well, it's because they finally realized that true freedom means doing what you want to do, not what you think a rich person is supposed to do. That 3rd level, it represents absolute freedom. It proves that having a garage stuffed full of expensive cars that need constant maintenance and ridiculous insurance payments, that doesn't bring lasting happiness. That is literally just expensive stress. True wealth is all about prioritizing experiences, focusing on genuine relationships, and above all else, having total, unyielding control over your own time. All right, let's jump into Section 3, the stealth wealth superpower, and getting X-ray vision into human nature. Just imagine a real estate millionaire for a second. He owns the entire development company, right? But he rolls up to the construction site every single morning in a beat-up pickup truck, wearing scuffed work boots. He sits down, eats lunch with the crew, jokes around, and he's just treated like a normal, everyday equal. Now, compare that guy to a mid-level contractor who decides to roll up in a brand new, super flashy luxury truck. What happens? Instantly, his crew starts asking for raises, and the client automatically assumes he must be overcharging for his services. Simply by keeping quiet, the millionaire gets treated like a normal person. It is literally like being a financial superhero hiding out in civilian clothes. I want you to think deeply about your current social circle for just a second. Ask yourself honestly, how would those group dynamics instantly shift if they suddenly knew you had, say, 10 times more money than they did? Like, would they still split the restaurant bill equally when you all go out to eat? Or would there suddenly be this weird underlying tension? The beauty is, when you don't broadcast your wealth, you essentially gain this incredible X-ray vision into human nature. You get to see exactly who is genuinely generous and who actually enjoys your company entirely free of any ulterior motives.
And let me tell you, this superpower becomes unbelievably practical in your day-to-day life. The minute service providers, or heck, even your distant family members, realize you have money, you immediately become a prime target for wealth extraction. Just notice how the behaviors instantly shift. Suddenly, your mechanic is suggesting all these premium services. Your contractor magically finds additional work that absolutely must be done right now. Your financial advisor starts steering you toward these really high-fee products. I mean, there is an entire massive industry built purely around separating wealthy people from their money. But flying under the radar, that acts as an invisible, bulletproof shield against all of it.
Which takes us to Section 4, the hedonic treadmill, and the actual math of showing off.
So have you ever stopped to wonder why some people just keep buying and buying things, but they literally never seem any happier? Well, it boils down to a psychological concept called hedonic adaptation. Basically, as humans, we get used to lifestyle upgrades surprisingly quickly, like that brand new luxury car. It feels absolutely amazing for the first week, but by month 3, honestly, it's just a car. It gets you from A to B. The thrill is completely gone. But you know what sticks around? Yep, that massive monthly payment. That definitely stays.
And the financial math behind this is just staggering. Think about it. While everyone else is out there financing rapidly depreciating luxury cars just to maintain some illusion of wealth for total strangers on the internet, stealth wealth builders are quietly deploying their capital into assets that actually grow. Because the reality is, every single dollar you don't spend on showing off is a dollar that compounds for your future over decades. That massive, gaping difference in net worth between the loud show-offs and the quiet builders. It really all comes down to this single, undeniable mathematical truth.
Finally, we arrive at Section 5, true financial freedom and living life entirely on your own terms. At the end of the day, money isn't really meant to impress people. It's a tool meant to buy you options and dramatically reduce your stress. And keeping your wealth hidden builds this incredible trait that we call financial confidence. It's this quiet, unshakable assurance of knowing that if your car suddenly breaks down or a totally unexpected medical bill shows up in the mail, you don't have to panic. You are completely secure. It is the profound difference between actually being secure and just looking secure while secretly living on a fragile financial house of cards. I promise you, when you finally drop that exhausting, wealthy persona, your entire life just improves. You get to travel authentically, discovering real local gems instead of, just performing for social media. In business, you maintain this incredibly sharp edge. You're negotiating and competing purely on merit, rather than dealing with people who just assume you have bottomless pockets. You get to completely control the flow of your own financial information. And honestly, the absolute best part is that it doesn't stop you from being generous at all. It just ensures that your generosity is a meaningful, personal choice, rather than some forced, awkward expectation from your family or friends. By intentionally opting out of this exhausting game of financial theater, you achieve something much better: true prosperity. You quickly realize that the absolute best things in life aren't actually things at all, and that true wealth is really just making sure your possessions don't end up owning you. So, after diving into all the math and the fascinating psychology behind this, I want to leave you with one final question. Are you finally ready to stop living for other people's approval and fully embrace the quiet, unbothered freedom of being the kind of rich that nobody sees coming?